Permit Review Committee to order. And we'll begin with the roll call of commissioners. Commissioner Ponce. Commissioner Rubin. And I'm here and we have a quorum. And we'll begin with I'd like to request a motion to adopt the minutes from our March 6th, 2025 meeting. So moved by Commissioner Rubin. Seconded by Commissioner Ponce. I am a yes, and the motion carries unanimously, and the minutes will be posted on the commission's website. There are 7 projects on the agenda for today's meeting. Staff to the commission will present the project on the agenda and state their recommendation. Following the staff presentation, the committee will have the opportunity to ask questions of the staff. The applicant may then make a statement. Following the applicant's statements, members of the public may make their statements. I'd like to ask anyone other than the applicant wishing to make a statement on the item on today's agenda to complete a public comment card and give the card to a member of the staff. Comment cards are available at the door. As a courtesy to other individuals wishing to offer comments, we ask that members of the general public limit your statements to 3 minutes or less. When the time comes for public comment on the item on the agenda, I will call the names on the cards and ask you to make your statement. Please state your name, the interest, organization, company you represent, if any. Project number 1, 226 West Jackson in the 42nd Ward, Chicago and North Western Railway Office Building. It's the proposed new shade awning and glass guards for the existing rooftop amenity space. And I'd like to call on Tyler Taylor for the staff report.
Good afternoon. This presentation is for 226 West Jackson. The subject property is a 14-story commercial office building located at the northeast corner of West Jackson Boulevard and North Franklin in the Chicago Loop. The granite-clad Classical Revival building was designed by Frost & Granger, completed in 1905 as the headquarters of the Chicago and Northwestern Railway Company, which is one of the largest rail companies operating out of Chicago at the time. The building underwent renovations approved by this committee to convert it to hotel use. As part of these renovations, a rooftop addition and terrace were added, shown in this rendering from that approval. The addition and terrace are now complete. To address issues with both sun exposure and high winds, a proposal has been received to modify the rooftop by adding a retractable awning along the west wall of the addition, shown blue in the plan, and a glass wind guard along the perimeter of the parapet, highlighted in green. This rendered view looking north shows the awning fully extended and the guard along the west parapet to the left. Note the proposed guard will be shorter than it's shown in this rendering. The rendered view shows the awning and guard, this time looking east from the same viewpoint. The guard proposed to block the wind will use a system typically used for guard rails, consisting of glass panes set within an aluminum shoe channel that can be fastened horizontally to the back of the parapet, as shown in the large detail at left. This will allow the guard to be mounted without penetrations to the horizontal portion of the roof membrane. The glass panes are mounted side by side with butt joints and no vertical supports. The typical detail at right shows a top rail, highlighted in orange, but in this instance, the top rail will be eliminated. Staff recommends the sealant between the panels should be clear, and this should be noted on the permit drawings when submitted. To assess visibility of the proposed structures from the street below, a mock-up of the glass guard was constructed using clear acrylic panels mounted at the northwest and southwest corners of the terrace, as well as a point on the south parapet. Note that after this mock-up review was conducted, the applicants have determined that the guard can be mounted to the lower step portion of the parapet, which is about a foot further back, which will further help reduce visibility. The awning was also mocked up using vertical PVC pipes located along the perimeter of the proposed awning when fully extended. From the south, the guards become somewhat visible from the opposite corner across Jackson. From Franklin further to the south, the guards are more fully visible, but still do not project significantly above the parapet. The awning is not visible from the south. Similar to the view from the south, the guards begin to be visible across Franklin to this, from the west. Moving further west on Jackson, the guards become fully visible from the middle of Wacker, and the awning becomes visible slightly after the roof of the existing addition is visible in this zoomed out in view. In this wide view from the same point, neither the guards or awning increase the visibility of the existing rooftop structure beyond what was already approved. From the north, pictured at left, and the east, pictured at right, neither guards or awning are visible at any distance. Visibility of the proposed structures was compared to similar projects previously approved by the committee. This proposal is more minimally visible than the guards pictured here for the old Dearborn Bank building at 208 North Wabash approved in 2012. Because they will not be any more visible than the existing rooftop addition, staff recommends approval of these conditions. First, details and specifications for the awning, including the retraction mechanism and mounting details, shall be included with the permit drawings. And second, as proposed, the glass guard shall not have a top rail or vertical supports. The sealant used between individual glass panels within the guard shall be clear. Enlarged dimension details of the guards themselves and mounting details shall be provided with the permit drawings. Alderman Riley has reviewed the proposal and has no objection. The Loop Alliance is in support and has issued a letter to that effect, which is included in your packets. And Joe Lucio of Barker Nestor is here on behalf of the project team, I believe, and it's available to answer your questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Tyler. Commissioners, any questions for Tyler before we hear from the applicant? Seeing none, let's hear from the applicant. Joe Lucio?
Hi, good afternoon. Here to answer any questions you have. We are excited about the project. We think it'll increase the viability of the patio without major visibility as you went through. So if you have any questions, fire away.
Commissioners, any questions? Seeing none. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if there are there any public comments on this item? No, no public comments. So we will move for final discussion, commissioners. Oh, we do. Mr. Ward Miller.
Ward Miller for the record, Richard H. Treehouse, Executive Director of Preservation Chicago. We very much support this project. We've seen a lot of rooftop amenities and structures added to the top of landmark buildings. And we're very supportive of this landmark designation of this important railroad related building. So we are in full support of whatever makes these buildings viable or even more viable. And we believe this will help. We worked with the developer on the initial hotel project, the two projects, the two hotel doors, if you will, or keys as they call them, for this building. And we are highly supportive of this effort. So thank you.
All right, thank you. I believe that there are no other folks signed up to speak on this item. I'd like to move to final discussion. My commissioners? Yeah. Commissioner.
Just going to add that I appreciate the mock-up and all of the, steps that have been taken, and we look forward to future steps.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Ponce. Yeah, very, very sensitive approach. Appreciate the renderings and also the recommendations on the removal of the top rail. So any other points? All right, seeing none, I'd like to request a motion to adopt the staff recommendation. So moved by Commissioner Ponce. We have a second. Seconded by Commissioner Rubin. I'm a yes, and the motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you. Project number 2, 4400 South Greenwood, 4th Ward, North Kenwood Multiple Resource District. It's the proposed new construction of 11 new townhomes in 3 separate groupings on combined vacant lots. And I'd like to call on Emily Barton for the staff report.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. So the subject lot is a combined 3 lots located on the corner of Greenwood Avenue and 44th Street. While originally home to a single-family residence and 2 flats buildings, the site has been vacant for years. This proposal is to construct 11 new single-family townhouses on the site. This development will occupy the northernmost 3 lots of the block and will require rezoning of the property from RT4 to RM5. So the North Kenwood District features a wide variety of building types, many of which are attached to row houses. The subject block, however, consists of single-family residences at the south end and vacant land at the north end. The 1895 Sanborn map shows single-family residences for the majority of the block and a larger structure at the north end. By 1925, however, the northern section of the block, which is the current development site, was improved with 2 larger flat buildings, as you can see on the map. So the massing of the proposed project was developed to be compatible with the existing context and similar to the massing of the historic flat buildings that existed on the site, designed to be viewed as 3 separate buildings across the lots. There are 6 units facing Greenwood, which is Building 1 in red, 3 units facing 44th Street, which is Building 2 in blue, and 2 units in the southwest corner of the lot, which is Building 3 in yellow. All of the townhouses are proposed to be similar in length and width. So first we'll talk about Building 1. In order to break up the row house style design along Greenwood, the applicant proposes to minimize the connection between the 6 units with a stair tower connector set back approximately 32 feet from the front face of the bay. The overall length of the building is approximately 139 feet north to south, with each townhouse grouping being around 42 feet wide and 50 feet in depth. Front yard setbacks on this block of Greenwood range anywhere from 20 feet to 31 feet. Row houses such as those found on Berkeley directly west of the subject property are shallower, from 16 to about 18 and a half. The front setback of this building is proposed to be set back 18 feet to the front porch and 23 feet to the main front elevation. Side yards are proposed to be 5 feet along 44th Street to the north and 3 feet to the south. These setbacks match those found on the flat buildings that historically occupied these lots and is within the range found within the block and the district as a whole. So Building 2, the 3 units facing 44th Street, is arranged as one form, and it has an enclosed stair separating the western unit from the easternmost 2. This building is 66 feet 5 inches in length, east to west, and about 56 feet in depth. These 3 units have a front setback of 12 feet. There are not a lot of examples of contributing buildings in the district that face 44th, but those that do feature less of a setback than you would find on the north to south streets. So this is 7 feet further south than the side yards of Building 1, which helps differentiate between the side yard and the front yard of this building. There's not a side setback to the west against the alley, but to the east, there are 20 feet proposed between Buildings 1 and 2. Finally, for Building 3, in the southwest corner of the lot, it's approximately 42 feet in width with a setback side stair enclosure to the north. These units are similar in length and depth to the other 2 buildings. While there was never a freestanding rear building at this location, the footprint of the flat buildings that were here historically took up the majority of their lots, and Building 3, being located directly west of Building 1, references that massing. Building 3 does not have any street frontage and is proposed to be 3 feet setback from the south property line and 2 foot 4 inches setback from the alley. The north elevation of this building will be set back approximately 26 feet from the back of Building 2. All 3 buildings are proposed to be connected by a driveway accessed through the alley behind the lot, which is shaded in gray. There will be no curb cuts along Greenwood or 44th Street. A 5-foot tall open metal fence is proposed surrounding the development. And so overall, the proposed side and front yard setbacks from all 3 buildings are within the range that would be found historically and clearly differentiate the 3 buildings, and staff recommend approval as proposed. So historic row houses in the district vary between 15 to 22 feet in width, with historic single-family houses being much wider, 35 to 45 feet. So the proposed size of the units and massing of the structures was designed to fit within this context and within the proportions of the historic flat buildings as shown on Sanborn maps. All three groupings are proposed to be 42 feet tall to the predominant roof line, with gables and turrets reaching a little taller to 44 feet 3 inches at their highest point. Based on the district context elevations provided by the applicant, the proposed height of the new development is well within the context of historic heights, and staff recommends approval. All three buildings are designed to be compatible with each other and the district as a whole, while still being differentiated enough to not all look the same. Gables and turrets are proposed on all three buildings with no two designs next to each other. The front porch locations alternate on each building, further allowing for each grouping of townhouses to be differentiated. The front porches are proposed to be raised 5 feet tall, matching other porches in the district, and feature solid masonry sidewalls, as is also characteristic. Staff recommends window details be submitted with the permit application. The predominant materials proposed are different colors and textures of cast stone. There will be 2 different colors for the main masonry coursing, advanced architectural cast stone in classic white, and then also in brown stone, with the textures rock face to mimic rusticated limestone. For the coping, headers, sills, and detailing, the same colors of cast stone are proposed, but with a smooth veneer and trim texture. Each grouping of row houses will be clad in alternating colors to further differentiate the units from each other. There are also 2 different colors of shingles proposed for the mansard roofs. The rear elevations and stair towers are proposed to be clad in smooth-faced fiber cement siding in a gray color. These are all characteristic colors and textures found historically in the area, and staff recommend they're compatible with the district. So staff recommendations are as follows. The project is approved as shown on the drawings dated October 15th, 2024, and received February 12th, 2025. Window details should be submitted with the permit application. As proposed, the advanced architectural cast stone in classic white and brown stone with a textured rock face for the masonry coursing, and the smooth veneer texture for the detailing and coping are approved. Any mortar shall match the masonry color, and final material samples shall be submitted with the permit application. And then finally, the project as proposed will require a zoning change, and the commission takes no position regarding any requested change, variance, or adjustment relative to the zoning code. Both the Alderman and North Kenwood Oakland Community Organization have been informed of this project, and Alderman Robinson has no objection to the proposal or the rezoning. So I'm here if you have questions. We also have the architect and I believe developer.
Great. Thank you, Emily, for the very detailed presentation. Commissioners, any questions for Emily before we hear from the development team? Seeing none, let's hear from the project architect or development representative of the development team. If you'd like to introduce yourself and say a few things about the project.
Good afternoon. I am Alexander Polichuk, Sergei Shkiler. We are architects of this project, and we represent owner, and the owner representative is here too. If you have any questions, we're very excited to this project, and we'll answer as much as we can.
Commissioners, any questions for the development architects? No, seeing none. Thank you for the good work and working with the staff and putting together such a thoughtful design. Thank you. Public comments. Thank you. We'll move to public comment now. We have one person decided to speak, Mr. Ward Miller.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ward Miller with Preservation Chicago. We just want to compliment the team, both in DPD Historic Preservation Division, as well as the architects and the developers, working together here to really design something that fits into the district so beautifully. In the past, we've seen some rather plain Jane, for lack of a better term, unornamented facades and buildings. And it's really nice to see structures that really blend into the community, as we know that there are sort of gaps of space, vacant lots in the North Kenwood multiple property landmark district. So it's really refreshing to see something so highly detailed with really wonderful materials brought to the district to help fill in those gaps, if you will. So we at Preservation Chicago really support this district. Thank you. This development in this district. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. And no one else has signed up to speak on this item. So I'd like to move to final discussion, commissioners. Seeing none. No, thank you again for all the thought that has gone into the configuration of this, and I agree with the public comments on the quality of the design, really making a tremendous effort to really make an impact in the community in a good way. So with that, I'd like to request a motion to adopt the staff recommendation. If their commissioners would make a motion. So moved by Commissioner Rubin. Do we have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Ponce, and I'm a yes, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right. Project number 3307 to 3319 South Prairie in the 4th Ward, Calumet-Giles Prairie District. It's the proposed new construction of 5 new 2-story single-family residences and detached 2-car garages. And Joyce Ramos has the staff report and presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as a background, the Permit Review Committee conditionally approved a development on the former Glass Globe factory site in 2005 that included an overall plan for 18 new buildings. And since then, several projects were approved by the Permit Review Committee, including townhomes on 33rd and single-family homes on Giles and Prairie Avenues. The same developer is now proposing to construct 5 new 2-story single-family residences, all adjacent to each other, located on Prairie Avenue, just south of 33rd. The proposed new buildings will be 18 feet in width and 50 feet in length, with a front yard setback of 14 feet, which is consistent with the historic structures nearby on Prairie and Giles Avenues. At the rear of each property will be a 2-car garage with alley access. All 5 of the proposed 2-story buildings will be 28 feet 8 inches tall, with a raised entry and stoop height of approximately 5 feet above grade. The front facades of all 5 buildings feature a slight projecting bay with punched openings that contain single and gang double-hung windows and center picture windows. Historic preservation staff recommend that the new windows be wood or clad wood, and that scaled and dimensioned window details be submitted with the permit drawings for review. So I'll go through each of the buildings with the face brick selections. So the front elevation of 3307 South Prairie is proposed to be clad in face brick by Summit Brick in the color Smooth Red Light, which incorporates orange and red tones. And the front elevation of 3309 South Prairie is proposed to be clad in face brick by Branton Brick in the color Graphite, which is a dark gray tone. The front elevation of 3311 South Prairie is proposed to be clad in face brick by Brickcraft Brick in the color Twilight, which is a brown gray tone. The front elevation of 3315 South Prairie is proposed to be clad in face brick by Brickcraft in the color Town Hall, which incorporates red and brown tones. And the front elevation of 3319 South Prairie is proposed to be clad in face brick by Brampton Brick in the color Brown Velour, which is a brown tone. A simple open metal cast iron fence will be installed along the sidewalk, and staff recommend that the fences be no taller than 5 feet. The brick for all the buildings should incorporate a color range with brown, red, yellow, and buff tones that are compatible with the historic buildings in the district. To more accurately verify the colors, staff recommend that the physical samples of the brick and mortar should be submitted with the permit drawings for review and approval prior to order and installation to confirm that it is in the range of colors and textures found on the historic buildings in the district. Further, the mortar color should closely match the color of the brick. The historic buildings in the district have varying heights, and to break up that repetition, staff recommend the plans be modified to provide a variety of overall building heights that incorporate different parapet designs, shapes, and material projections to further differentiate each building from each other and to be more compatible with the historic buildings in the district. Smooth cut limestone trim is proposed on the front facades, and the detailing on each building is a simplified interpretation of historic features. However, all the buildings have a similar appearance, and to provide variety, staff recommend that the stone copings, lintels, sills, and belt courses have varying sizes, projection, profiles, and detailing, which is typical of the historic buildings in the district. So for all 5 buildings, the face brick from the front facade will wrap 10 feet around to the side elevations, And the remainder of the side elevations and the rear elevation will be clad in fiber cement siding. Staff recommend that the fiber cement siding should have a smooth finish and a 4-inch lap exposure in a color that closely matches the face brick installed on the front facade and returns. And the garages in the rear will also be clad in fiber cement siding to match the house and have a hip roof with asphalt shingles. All right, so in conclusion, Alderman Robinson and GAPCO have reviewed the proposal and both submitted letters of support, which were included in the packets. And that concludes my presentation. Tom Boney, the developer, is also here, so please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Commissioners, any questions about the project for Joyce before we hear from the applicant? Okay. Let's hear from the property owner.
Hello, I'm Tom Boney. I'm the developer of this property. I'm excited to continue working on this project. This is the old Globe Glass site. It's been vacant since we think the 1970s, and this is more infill. And with the completion of these 5 homes, we will complete the streetscape on Prairie Avenue.
All right. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the owner, developer?
I just have a comment. I agree with staff recommendations. If you look at this elevation, it does look pretty flat, and, you know, their recommendations maybe to provide a little bit more depth and variety to what the other elevations show along Prairie Avenue. And I think it would be helpful to contribute to this district to show that depth of character. And as far as everything else, I think it's great, a great submission. I would love to see that a little bit more variation than just a flat line across that elevation.
I've had additional conversation with Joyce since her recommendations came out, and I'm in agreement with her that we are going to revise the facade look to give it more depth and you know, I'm in agreement with her recommendations. So we just didn't have enough time between the recommendation and the meeting to get a drawing together, but we're going to work with her to give a more variety of a look.
Great, thank you.
Great. Thank you for your comment. Thank you. That was great. Appreciate that. And any other comments?
Yeah, mine was similar. I think the variety of kind of the flat line I noticed. I really do like the variety of brick color. I'd kind of wonder if brick pattern variation would also be a part of what you consider as you revise it to create a little bit more variety. Kind of thinking my own neighborhood and noticing the differences in buildings that are of a similar scale, but just variations in the brick pattern brings a lot, but not a whole lot more expense. So something else to consider for some variety, but otherwise it looks very nice.
Yeah, I think the developer and I will continue working together and work on like the projections of like the stone trim and maybe a brick pattern, maybe like on the parapet or something, just to differentiate the buildings a little bit more.
Little stuff.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Rubin. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with no other comments, would like to move to public comment. Anybody signed to speak on this item? Seeing none. Final discussion, commissioners. All right. And seeing none, I'd like to request a motion to adopt the staff recommendation. So moved by Commissioner Rubin. Seconded by Commissioner Ponce. I'm a yes, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank
you. Project item number 4, 1625 North Mohawk in the 43rd Ward, Old Town Triangle District. Proposed alterations to an existing rear addition. Tyler Taylor, hello again, has the staff report.
Okay, this presentation is for 1625 North Mohawk. This is a one-story frame workers cottage located in the Old Town Triangle District. It is at the southwest corner of the district, mid-block between West North Ave and Eugenie Street. The lot is only 70 feet deep and 24 feet wide, so significantly shorter than the average Chicago lot and somewhat narrower. The CHRS card for the property estimates it was built in the 1870s. By over time. A permit to renovate the building was approved in 2019, which included a rear masonry addition. The renovation work was partially completed, but work stopped with the unfortunate passing of the former owner. The new owners are continuing to complete the work under the previous permit and have also applied for a new permit that includes an expansion of the rear addition that would increase the height of a portion of its roof above the roof line of the original gabled roof. The rear addition, seen here from the alley, was built using a different material than what was approved on the permit drawings. It was approved to be constructed with a smooth-faced Atlas brick, but was instead constructed with split-faced CMU. The existing condition is shown in the top elevation. The rear addition has a gabled roof with the same pitch as the historic roof, but the ridge is 5 inches lower. The rear wall of the second level is proposed to be moved back to align with the rear wall at the first floor garage level. The elevation is also proposed to be clad in new lap siding, matching the lap exposure of the original siding on the front, and 3 skylights are proposed to be added to the roof. On the north side, to increase the ceiling height on this side of the rear addition, the exterior wall is proposed to be extended upward with a new shallower roof. The raised portion of the addition is set back 42 foot 7 inches from the street, but extends above the roof of the original cottage. The CMU will also be reclad with lap siding on this elevation. The proposed change to the addition is best shown in section. The section at right shows the proposed change to raise the roof of the north side of the addition by extending the exterior wall upward. To assess the visibility of the modified addition, staff requested a mock-up be constructed and reviewed on site. This is a view of the mock-up taken from across Mohawk from the point with the greatest visibility of the modified addition. This is the same view with the mock-up highlighted for clarity. This view of the mock-up is taken from the northernmost point on Mohawk where it just first becomes visible. And heading south, this view is from the point just before it is no longer visible. Views of the portion of the addition above the historic roof line, therefore, are limited to a short section of North Mohawk. Visibility of this rear addition is comparable to other rear additions to gabled roof buildings in the district previously approved by the committee, including 1633 North Hudson, which was approved in 2014. Like the subject proposal, 1633 North Hudson is a gabled roof building that had a non-historic rear addition. Another story was added to the rear addition with higher sidewalls and a more gradual roof slope, resulting in visibility of the addition from narrow sections of North Hudson on either side of the building. This addition was approved on the basis that visibility of the addition from the street would be limited. Based on this example, staff recommends the modified addition for the subject property is comparable in visibility and recommends approval as proposed. In addition to the modifications to the rear addition, the proposed scope of work also includes raising the existing handrails on the front entrance to a code compliant height, replacing the non-historic wooden fence around the front sunken patio with a new compatible open metal fence, and modifying the front entrance door to raise the height of the header so it aligns with the window header. Staff recommends the proposed fence and modification to the handrails meet the commission standards and will not be an adverse effect. For the proposal to change the height of the door, staff inspected the existing framing above the door header to determine if there was evidence that increasing the height of the door would restore the historic condition. In the center photo, the original framing and sheathing can be seen that are significantly darkened with age, as well as newer framing and sheathing below. The modifications to the framing indicate that the height of the framed opening likely was changed at some point, and the door is old but is likely not original to the building. However, there's no clear evidence to indicate what the height of the door was before it was modified, such as an intact header framing or nail holes and scarring left by removal of the original header. Without clear evidence of the original header location, staff recommends the height of the door should not be altered. Finally, at the rear addition, the entire elevation, which will now be one plane, is also proposed to be clad in lap siding, matching the lap exposure elsewhere on the building. Staff recommends approval with the conditions noted, and in addition, the changes to the rear addition may require relief under the zoning ordinance, and staff recommends the committee take no position on said relief. 43rd Ward Alderman Knudsen has reviewed the proposal and provided a letter of support. The Old Town Triangle Association has also reviewed and issued a letter of support, as well as 3 neighbors, and copies of all of these letters have been distributed to you. The owner, Natasha, and architect Peter are here and able to answer your questions.
Great, thank you, Tyler.
So thank you for all your consideration.
You. Any questions?
It's about the impetus to even out the door with the windows. It doesn't seem to bother me too much, and it looks like there's inconclusive evidence of whether it ever was aligned with the windows. How did you reach the conclusion of wanting to do that? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
There's another architect involved in the project, and she actually lives in the neighborhood, and her building has windows and doors that align, and it's sort of an aesthetic preference. And as you can see from the photos, there was something there. What it was exactly, we haven't determined. We will potentially try and do a little bit more demo and see if we can find any more evidence, but that was that's sort of where we're at with it.
We also, I want to point out in the second condition, we left it open saying confirmed by documentary or physical evidence. If we find more evidence,
Yeah,
then,
Okay.
yeah.
maybe it'll show up. I don't think it looks too silly. I think it looks all right.
I would love to see more evidence.
Yeah. It does align with the top of the windows, though, just not the crowning at the top. So that's something.
Any other? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for being here, and let's move to public comment. Seeing none, I think we're moving to final discussion.
Yeah. Congratulations. Beautiful house.
Okay, yes, thank you. Let's move to no further discussion. Let's move to make a motion. Do we have a motion? So move, Commissioner Ponce, seconded by Commissioner Rubin, and I'm a yes. And motion carried unanimously, so congratulations. Fifth project on the agenda today is 4649 North Broadway in the 46th Ward, Uptown Square District. The proposed use of reflective one-way vision privacy film at 3 first-floor storefront bays. And Emily Barton has the staff report.
Yes, thank you. All right, so the subject property is located mid-block on Broadway between Wilson and Leland. Per the applicant's narrative, Hope Clinic Chicago is opening a new reproductive health clinic specializing in abortion care that will occupy the first and second floors of the building. Large storefront windows face out onto the public sidewalk facing Broadway. Due to the sensitive nature of the clinic's work, they say it's important for them to be able to protect the privacy of the patients and staff that utilize the building. It is also important that they be able to assess the building exterior for any potential security concerns. Because of this, the clinic is proposing a reflective, one-way privacy security film for the entire height and width of the non-historic storefront. The applicant considered several options to address privacy and security concerns. To allow light and shadow to still penetrate the storefront, staff suggested the addition of a frosted film up to 7 feet high, with the top portion of the windows left clear. The clinic anticipates that they may attract the attention of protesters opposed to the medical care that they provide and are concerned about their ability to use ladders and cameras to see inside the space. For this reason, partially filming the windows is not sufficient for their security needs. The clinic also explored the option of using a frosted film that would block visibility on both sides of the glass, extending all the way to the top of the glazing. But again, this would not allow for clinic staff to be able to see out onto the sidewalk to monitor any potential security threats. So due to these unique privacy and security concerns, as I said, the applicant is proposing a one-way visibility film that allows views out to the street, but not into the clinic. While this film allows sunlight into the space, it appears as an opaque reflective glazing from the exterior. The proposed film is manufactured by ContraVision, but there may be other comparable films with similar properties that the clinic considers. Historically, storefronts were important architectural features for commercial and mixed-use buildings. Clear glazing played a critical role in a store's advertising and merchandising, and window films were not widely introduced until the 1960s. Opaque or tinted glazing is discouraged on historic buildings for this reason, and the Commission has typically not approved its application on landmarked buildings. While this is still appropriate guidance for most landmark storefronts throughout the city, this particular case is a unique situation that requires some additional context to be considered. The proposed film is applied from the interior of the glazing and does not attach to or obscure any decorative or significant features. Furthermore, it is entirely reversible. Should the clinic move out of the space in the future, the film can be removed with the clear glass underneath unaffected. Because of these reasons, as well as the specific use and needs of the clinic, staff recommend that in this instance, the proposed ContraVision one-way daytime privacy mirror window film, or similar, would not have an adverse effect to the building or district. Additionally, staff recommend that prior to installation, the applicant apply for an express permit for the application. So Uptown United was notified of the proposal. Alderman Clay's office is in support. No written comments were received yet, though. So if you have any questions for me, we also, I believe, have a representative from the clinic here, if you have questions for them.
All right. Well, thank you, Emily. Commissioners, any questions for Emily before we go hear from the applicant? The applicant's here, so would you like to make a statement? Like to hear?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Louisa Richardson Deppy. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Hope Clinic Chicago. We're really thrilled to be expanding reproductive health care access here in the city of Chicago, and appreciate all of the support from the architects on this team, as well as the 46th Ward in facilitating this conversation thus far.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Commissioners, any questions? Seeing none. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll move to public comment. There are no one signed up to speak on this item. And for that, we'll move to final discussion. Commissioners, any final discussion on this? Seeing none, I'd like to request a motion to adopt the staff recommendation. So moved by Commissioner Ponce, seconded by Commissioner Rubin, and I'm a yes, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
Congratulations.
time.
And that moves us to project number 6. Yes, 1030 East 48th in the 4th Ward, Kenwood District. Proposed relocation of an existing curb cut and driveway from the west side of the property to the east side of the property, and the construction of a new garage in the rear yard. I'd like to call on Joyce Ramos for the presentation.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is a 3-story masonry single-family residence located mid-block on the north side of 48th Street between Ellis and Greenwood Avenues. The property does not have a garage at the rear and does not have alley access. Currently, on the west side of the property, there is an existing curb cut and driveway that terminates in the front yard. The applicant is proposing to remove the existing curb cut and driveway and relocate it to the east side of the property. In order to construct this new driveway, an existing non-historic stair at the entrance located on the east elevation will be removed. The size and design of the new stair will require further review by historic preservation staff when developed. Additionally, the non-historic brick knee wall that is located along the east property line will be removed. An existing parkway tree may also need to be removed. The proposed new driveway shown here in yellow will be 9 feet wide and will be located along the east property line. The driveway will continue through the side yard and back to a new garage located in the rear yard shown in green. Staff recommend approval of the new curb cut and driveway. Additionally, staff recommend removing the existing curb cut and apron and returning the parkway curb and landscaping per Chicago Department of Transportation standards. Further, the existing driveway should be replaced with landscaping to match the rest of the front yard. Other work includes a new concrete walk that will be constructed in front of the raised patio in the front yard and continue through the west side yard and back to the rear yard. The applicant is also proposing to install a new 6-foot tall decorative wood fence along the west and east property lines shown in the blue dashed lines. And a new 6-foot tall decorative wrought iron fence is also proposed to be installed in the front property line shown in the dashed red line. Staff recommend that the 6-foot tall fences should not extend past the front facade, so it does not obscure views of the house. Additionally, any fences or gates that are installed past the face of the front facade should be open in design and no taller than 5 feet. And elevation drawings for the new fences and gates should be submitted for staff review and approval. The new garage will be 23 feet wide by 22 feet long with a gable roof, and the walls will be clad with fiber cement siding. And since the garage is offset of the house, a portion of it will be minimally visible from the street through the east side yard. Since the garage is located at the rear of the lot and the design is simple and compatible with the district, staff recommend that it will not negatively impact the architectural features of the main house and recommend approval for the proposed new garage. So the owner and architect were not able to attend this meeting today. However, the owner is in agreement with all the conditions and is working on revising the drawings per the recommendations. So that concludes my presentation. Let me know if you have any questions.
Great. Joyce, thank you so much. Commissioners, any questions? All right. Public comments, seeing none. Owner is not here. So any final discussion points, Commissioners? Seeing none, I'd like to request a motion to adopt staff recommendation. So moved. Commissioner Rubin. Second by Commissioner Ponce. I'm a yes, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, final project of the day, 2545 West Diversey in the 35th Ward, Bazaar Swiss Underwear Company building. Proposed installation of 2 new facelit 12-foot by 6-foot 10-inch signs to replace existing signs in the south penthouse facing southeast and southwest. And Tyler Taylor has the staff report.
Thank you, Chairman. The Vassar Swiss Underwear Company building takes up the entire irregularly shaped block bounded by Diversey to the north, Maplewood to the east, and with Schubert and the Kennedy Expressway to the south. The 4-story concrete and brick industrial building was built in 1914 and designed by architects Lawrence Gustav Hallberg and Stuart Hodges. It's 4 stories in height with a prominent tower, which can be seen in this view from Diversey and Rockwell. This is a more familiar view of the building for many, since the south angled portion of the facade is visible from the Kennedy Expressway, including the existing signs for Coyote Logistics that are the subject of this proposal. Permit applications have been received to replace these 2 signs with new signs for RXO. The RXO signs are proposed to have black backer panels with the same dimensions as the ones they will replace, but the text will be changed. In addition, the 2 existing signs for Coyote mounted to the masonry spandrel between the 3rd and 4th floors are proposed to be removed entirely without replacement. Where these signs are removed, staff recommend any holes left in the masonry should be patched with materials matching the surrounding historic masonry and mortar, and any ghosting left over should be gently cleaned. Both proposed signs are identical. The backer panel is 12 feet wide by 82 inches tall. Dimensions A and B in the permit exhibits. The new letters RXO are 42 inches in height and are white channel letters with green returns. The letters are face lit, but the returns, although colored, are not lit. The backer panel is also proposed to be halo lit with green LEDs as shown in the nighttime rendering at bottom right. The new letters for RXO will take up more area and be brighter than the previous green letters and logo. The Commission's adopted guidelines for signs state that signs on landmarks or in landmark districts can be a source of visual clutter when the effectiveness of the sign is equated with its size and flashiness, rather than its compatibility. Staff believes that the addition of the halo lighting around the backer panel in combination with the increased size of the facelit letters creates visual clutter and recommends the lighting be simplified by eliminating the halo lighting. The entire sign structure, including letters and backer panel, is proposed to be mounted to the masonry with through bolts. The exhibits do not specify whether the existing penetrations are to be reused or whether new penetrations are needed. Staff recommends the existing penetration should be reused as much as possible, and this should be noted on the exhibits. Because the signs will be visible from both the adjacent expressway and surrounding residential area, staff recommend the illumination should have a dimmer control, and a note confirming this should be added to the exhibits. Staff recommends approval of the new signs with the noted conditions. The 35th Ward Alderman's office has reviewed the proposal and has not offered comment, but has signed the associated council orders. Representatives for both RXO and the sign contractor are here and available to answer your questions.
Great, excellent. Thank you, Tyler. Commissioners, any questions?
I have a question on point 3, where your recommendation is to have a dimmer control. What about, I was thinking of the actual lighting level, recommending a lighting level, not a maximum lighting level, is what I mean.
I would leave the lighting level itself to the sign experts because I wouldn't have the expertise to recommend a specific level, but the having it be dimmable to be able to reduce the lighting level is something we typically look for, especially when the sign's adjacent to residential areas.
I have a question. So around that point, if a sign is too bright, the Historic Preservation Division maybe tells them to lower it, and that's the idea?
It's to make sure that it's possible to lower it. Because
Yeah,
if we don't see
in case it's a complaint.
the control included in the drawings or in the notes, we don't know if it's even possible to lower the lighting level. We just want to make sure that it is possible. We're not going to impose a schedule or anything, but it's to make sure that it is at least possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, if one of the recommendations is to make dimmability possible, then what's there to say that it's at the highest maximum level the whole time? But is there something that we can look at, maybe the lighting expert here can share insight on maximum lighting levels?
Okay, let's hear from the applicant.
My name is Sebastian Lorenzo with Sign the Sign Contractor. To touch on some of the issues just brought up, I could tell you that, first of all, the internal illumination, the LEDs are an industry standard, not to express the fact that it's any brighter than any other sign, but as the staff recommended, we will and can and will install a dimmer that can control the light intensity if necessary. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right, well, since you're here, you'd like to say anything about the project? Anything further?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say, I'm
Just
Chad
introduce
Smart.
yourself. Just introduce yourself, sorry.
Chad Smart with RXO. Only thing I want to say here is, we have 500 employees here. This is a very important sign for us as it faces the Kennedy Expressway. The green is a sense of pride for our employees. It's more than just a color. It's part of our brand. As was stated, this faces the Kennedy Expressway. It's probably the most prolific sign that we'll have in our network. So it's very important to us.
Yes, I agree. I mean, you can see it, driving in both directions, and it's a prime spot. And kudos to you both for the green, wearing the green today.
Wasn't sure if you'd notice.
It was not coordinated.
All right. Thank you.
You wanna
Yeah,
ask-
you want to say something?
Sorry, I'm Erin Bowman, also with RXO. I'm the head of marketing and brand. One detail that we did want to propose against was the staff's recommendation about eliminating the green halo light, which is why we're here. Chad just mentioned, green is very, very important to our brand. It distinguishes us from several of our competitors, many of which are here in Chicago. Actually, a couple in the Kennedy Expressway corridor that have their own signs out there. So we would love to be able to maintain that green halo. It's more of a subtle accent versus meant to, be really loud and green. So which is why we went with the white letters and that green halo as a proposal. So we are hoping to maintain that halo lit plan, the backlit halo.
For reference, that's
Yes.
the rendering. We're
So-
talking about the
Yeah.
halo lighting around the backer panel.
It's around the backer panel, but is there a halo light on the letters already?
No.
No, they're just outlined in green. Commissioners.
Before?
The previous sign so these were being permitted as a reface of the existing, of the previous Coyote signs. These signs did not have the halo lighting, so they're introducing the halo lighting.
Have other signs that we've approved had halo lighting before?
For high-rise signs, I don't believe that we've had both halo lighting and internal illumination, but we've definitely had one or the other.
I don't feel, I would be, because I know the sign, I know this location pretty well, and I personally would be okay with it. But commissioners,
As long as we're, controlling the brightness and being tasteful and that switch is there, then I would imagine that the halo is also controlled by the same switch. And it's not going to create, a garish presence.
as long as it can be controlled.
Yeah. Then I can say it's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yep, I'm okay with it too.
So we have revised recommendation that we would allow for the halo lit if it's controllable and can be dimmed if needed, right?
Yes.
Commissioner Rubin made a motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
Seconded, well, we didn't did we do public comment? We don't have any public comments. No public comments. Thank you. Okay, so I guess we got to go through that. So thank you. I think we're revising the recommendation to allow for the halo. And we'll move to public comment. There are no public comments, so final discussion.
Is there any photographic evidence of what the Vassar Swiss Underwear Company sign looked like?
They didn't have a glowing high-rise sign.
That's fine.
There's also other high-rise signs on this building, on the tower, that were introduced in 2008, so it's not, can actually sort of see it there.
Okay.
Okay, then there's a motion, revised staff recommendation on the table, and Commissioner Rubin, I think, was waiting to make a motion. Commissioner Rubin has made a motion, right? I don't want to say it.
Yes, they have. Motion is
I second the
Sec-
motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Ponce, and I'm a yes, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that brings us to, there's no further business on today, so that brings us to the adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn? So move, Commissioner Rubin.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Ponce, I'm a yes. Thank you all. Meeting adjourned.